I grew up in a very traditional German Chilean family, and I was already 13 years old, my sister 17 years old. I am a classical trained pianist, and during those years I was going to college. At the same time I was in school, and every Friday we would travel with my father to this neighbor town to get my piano lessons in college, and I built a very close bond with him during that time. I discovered that my dad was cheating on my mom after 21 years of marriage. So my whole world collapsed with that. It was a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of yelling, a lot of fights at home. My mother decided to separate, and we went with her, of course. And I started wrapping myself in my own bubble during this time. I had a lot of anger towards my father. Anger, frustration, disappointment. Every time I went to see him was just to ask for money so I could have money in my pocket for college. And I went because my mother will tell me, and this is as much as his name was forbidden at home, she will tell me, you go see him because he's your father. At one point, a friend of my mother invited her to a non-denominational church. Things started to change with her. Actions were different, her behavior was different. She was carrying a Bible everywhere. I was still in the party world and alcohol and drugs almost every day of the week. My sister and I were not happy with this change in my mother and the way she was talking to us about Jesus and the Bible and salvation and just so many things that we were like, she's in a cult. That was our thought, and we did not like it. I was coming back from college. We didn't have a car, and I had to go from the bus station to the other side of the city to get home. It was raining. My mother told me, if you want, you can come to the church. We will have a morning service there, and somebody will give us a ride, so you don't have to walk all the way. So I was reluctant. I didn't want to, but with the weather circumstances, I decided to go, and to my surprise, I saw a lot of people I knew, a lot of people that I grew up with were there. The music was great, because I grew up with pipe organ hymns. Then I go to this church where there were electric guitar and battery, drums and microphones, and never seen before in a church. So that weekend, after processing a lot about Easter Sunday, that for some reason was always a very important date for me, I told my mom, I'm gonna go to your church. Inside of her heart, she was just jumping of happiness, but outside she was like, okay. Showed no expression at all. I went that Sunday with her. It was joyful celebration Sunday that I have never experienced before in my life about the joy of Christ's resurrection. Towards the end of the service, the pastor made a call for people to stand up and declare something they were thankful for. I was with my head down, sitting with some friends. My mom was in another side. In the middle of that moment of silence, people speaking out what they were thankful for, I heard my mom's voice saying, Lord, I just want to give you thanks that because regardless of anything that had happened, you have taught me to forgive my husband. At that moment, tears just started coming out of my eyes. I couldn't. It's still a very special moment to me when I remember, because that's exactly what I needed. And somehow, while I was there alone, on my own, without anybody telling me anything, I realized that I needed what my mom had. And I prayed to God, and I told me, God, if what my mom has is what I need to experience that forgiveness. I need to heal this in my heart. I cannot continue like this anymore. And if that is Jesus Christ, then I want him right now with me. And I started crying, bawling. My friends started hugging me, and it was a very strong experience in my heart. And I absolutely can't wait for that moment when I'm in front of him and I can just bow before him and just worship him constantly. It's hard in this world to do it sometimes. It's very hard, and sometimes you just don't feel the energies or anything in you to do it, but when I think of that moment when I'm in front of him, that pushes me to continue as well, and gives me the strength and the energy to continue fighting in this world, to continue growing, to continue loving everything that I experienced, the good and the bad, just continue loving it, because at the end, Jesus is gonna make it happen for a benefit for you and for others around you. And I have experienced that in my life, and not just in the few things I told now, many other things too, and I keep experiencing consistently.